वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वति नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान्नस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपारकरुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणम् श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते तं वन्दे ब्रह्मविद्धुर्यं सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणम् तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारम् प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। मौनो व्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवाणम् परिशिष्टान्तेव सदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपम् स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे।
मौनं व्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानम् वसिष्ठान्तेव सदृशिगणैरावृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपम् स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे।
वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णम् सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवम् जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षन्नमामि।
पठति समीपे भूमिभागे शरणम् सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात् त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवम् जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि।
चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तुच्छिन्न संशयाः।
चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तुच्छिन्न संशयाः।
निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
गुरवे निधये
सर्वविद्यानां
सर्वविद्यानां विषजे
भवरोगिणां
भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
ॐ नमः प्रणवार्ताय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः।
विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदम् श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये।
विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेव वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये।
ईजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः माया कल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम् मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये
बीजस्यान्तर्व्याकुरो
बीजस्यान्तर्व्याकुरो जगदिदं
जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं
प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं
पुनः
पुनः
माया
मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना
कल्पितदेशकालना
वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम्
वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम्
मायालाभं
मायावीव
भयत्यपि
महायोगेव
महायोगेन स्वेच्छया
स्वेच्छया
तस्मै
तस्मै
श्रीगुरुमूर्तये
श्रीगुरुमूर्तये
नमः
नम
इदं
इदं
श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये।
श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये।
स्वयं प्रकाशयति न विरचित तत्त्वसुधा नाम टीका तत्र द्वितीयः श्लोकः। प्रथमं टीकाकारेण नैयायिक मतस्य खण्डनं कृत्वा इदानीं सांख्यं मतं सांख्यानां मतं तथा सांख्यानां मतं प्रदर्श्य तथा तस्य खण्डनं करोति। नापि प्रधानपरिणामवादः इति आरभ्य पठनीयम्। इदं जगत् कुत्र वर्तते, आत्मनि वा अथवा आत्मा एव जगद्रूपेण परिणमते इति पृष्ट्वा पूर्वं नैयायिकानां मतम् आक्षिप्य इदानीं सांख्यमतानाम् आक्षेपणं करोति टीकाकारः। नापि प्रधानपरिणामवादः इति आरभ्य नापि प्रधानपरिणामवादः
नापि प्रधानपरिणामवादः
तस्य चेतनानधिष्ठितस्य
तस्य
चेतनानधिष्ठितस्य
चेतनानधिष्ठितस्य
कार्योत्पादे
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 स्वतः असामर्थ्यात्
स्वतः
असामर्थ्यात्
असामर्थ्यात्
एङ्गः पदान्तादति स्वतो सामर्थ्यात् स्वतः सन्धिविच्छेदं कृत्वा स्वतः असामर्थ्यात्। लोके रथादेहे
लोके रथादेहे
चेतनाधिष्ठितस्य एव
चेतनाधिष्ठितस्यैव
चेतनाधिष्ठितस्य एव
प्रवृत्तिदर्शनात्
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 तत्सद्भावे
तत्सद्भावे
प्रमाणाभावात्
प्रमाणाभावात्
आजामित्यादि श्रुतेश्च
अजाम् इत्यादि श्रुतेश्च
तेजो बन्नादिप्रकृत्य व्याकृतपरत्वाच्च
तेजो बन्नादि प्रकृत्या व्याकृतपरत्वाच्च
परत्वाच्च
जगतः कारणत्वेन प्रधानपरिणामवादः अपि स्वीकर्तुं न शक्यते। अतः टीकाकारेण उक्तं नापि प्रधानपरिणामवादः उपपद्यते। नापि प्रधानपरिणामवादः परिणाम ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ प्रधान प्रकृति प्रकृति जगत् रूपेण परिणमते इति सांख्यमतानां दर्शनं सांख्यमत जगत् सृष्टिः तु प्रधानस्य परिणामम् एव इति अतः प्रधान परिणामवादः तदपि स्वीकर्तुं न शक्यते न द ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ प्रधान is material prakriti jada tattva that is also not tenable. Why? Yataha here the Tikakara gives 4 reasons. Tasya chetana nadhishtitasya karyotpade स्वतः असामर्थ्यात् इति प्रथम कारणम् लोके चेतनाधिष्ठितस्य एव अर्थादेः प्रवृत्तिदर्शनात् द्वितीय कारणम् तृतीय कारणं तत्सद्भावे प्रमाणाभावात् चतुर्थं भवति अजामित्यादि श्रुतेश तेजोबन्नादि प्रकृत्य व्याकृत परत्वाच्च एतैः चत्वारि कारणानि उक्त्वा अथवा एतवः अथवा हेतून् समर्प्य आचार्यः टीकाकारः वदति नापि प्रधानपरिणामवादः परिणामवाद is not acceptable. प्रधान और प्रकृति is जड़ अचेतन. According to Sankhya, this pradhana, otherwise called prakriti, transforms into this jagat. So therefore, Purusha, that is Chaitanyam, has no role. That we don't accept. Advaitis don't accept. Napi, negating and then giving the reason. Why we first dismissing and giving the reason. Napi na sambhavati iti nishedaha kandanam karoti. Napi what pradhana parinamavadaha. Pradhana parinamavadaha eva sankhya matasya siddhantaha. Ataha napi pradhana parinamavadaha. Pradhanasya parinamaha pradhana parinamavadaha. Tasya vadaha. Pradhana parinamavadaha na iti न संभवति इति निषेधः क्रियते टीकाकारेण खण्डनं करोति. वै तत्त्वचेतनानधिष्ठितस्य कार्योत्पादे स्वतः असामर्थ्यात्. तस्य चेतनानधिष्ठितस्य अधिष्ठितस्य न अधिष्ठितस्य चेतनाधिष्ठितस्य. Because the pradhana chaitanya adhishthanam vina इत्युक्ते अनधिष्ठितस्य जड़ प्रकृत्या प्रधानेन कार्यं कथं संभवति न संभवति. जगत् कार्यं न संभवति. जड़ प्रधानं स्वातंत्र्येण जगत् कार्यं कर्तुं न शक्नोति. न why it is not चेतनानधिष्ठितस्य. tasya referring to jada pradhanasya, achetanasya, jada pradhanasya, chetana nadishtitasya, chaitanyena, chaitanyena anadishtitasya, na adishtitam anadishtitam. Chetanena chaitanyena anadishtitam tasya chetana nadishtitasya. That prakriti which is without the adhisthana chaitanyam. Adhisthana chaitanyam vina. Prakriti alone, matter alone, this jada principle alone. Karyotpade. Karya is jagat. Jagat rupe karya nirmane. Karya jagat srishtau. Karyotpade. Karya se utpadaha karyotpadaha. Karyotpade in creating this jagat, in producing this jagat, swataha asabhartya. Swataha swayameva swataha asamartatvat. Doesn't have the capability to create this jagat without the adhisthana chaitanyam. Adhisthana chaitanyam vina swataha eva jagat srashtum jagat srishtehe samartyam nasti tasya anadishtasya pradhanasya jada prakrutehe tasmat swataha asamartyat. Doesn't have the capability to create Jagat by itself because it is matter, it is inert, Jada. If it is Jada, doesn't have intelligence, then how can it create this Jagat in which we see and appreciate the order? Orderliness imply the Chaitanya. There must be intelligent principle behind that. Jada lacks intelligence. Therefore, how can it be the cause for this creation of this Jagat? Therefore, Prakriti must be having Chaitanyam as its Adhisthana, then only Srishti is possible. If they accept that, then they come to our side. They don't accept, and we dismiss because of the same reason. Because Swayameva Kartum Samartyam Nasti Pradhanasya. It cannot create because it is Jada. If that is so, then every Jada must be able to create. Jada must be able to produce something new. So therefore it is not possible. Then what is it Purusha is doing? Purusha is set aside for creation. It doesn't participate in the creation at all. Only Jada undergoing change, Parinama, transformed the Jagat. That is not possible. Why? Because of the incapability, asamartyam, capacity being not there. This is one reason, one karanam. And also, loke, second reason. Ratadege chetana deshtitasya. First one, without the chetana as chaitanyam as adhishtanam, not possible. That is vyatireka hetuhu. Now, vanvaya hetuhu. That is loke in this world. Asmin loke, asmin jagati. Ratadehe. Ratadehe adipadat. Mrit pindadina. Can bring in other things also. Ratadehe. Rataha adihi yasya tat ratadehe. Ratadihi. Chetanadishtitasya eva. Chetanena adishtitam. Chaitanyena adishtitam. Sachetanena purushena ityartaha. So rataha, chariot. A chariot or any vehicle, yanam, car, etc. It cannot move on its own. It cannot function by its own. They have its adhishtanam, dependency on some chetana vastu. some conscious entity. There must be a driver to drive the chariot. Chariot itself cannot decide the destination and can control the horses and move towards its destination. That is not possible. Therefore, there must be a conscious entity driving the chariot. That is why driver. So even though the horses may pull the chariot, but the reins of the horses are with the driver. Therefore, the intelligent, conscious entity must be there for the chariot to function. That we see in the loka. The loke drishyate. This is anumana. This is logical. This is evidence. Similarly, this is anumana. From this, we can infer the same way. Because chariot is jada, wooden chariot, or metal chariot, whatever chariot. It doesn't drive by itself, as it requires a conscious driver. The same thing can be extended. So this is vyapti. Yatra yatra dumaha tatra tatra vagnihi. So that by that, as we extend that to everywhere, similarly also we can do, by inference, we can do anumana. Similarly, pradhana is jada. Without chaitanyam, it cannot create this jagat. Therefore, chetana dishtitasya eva ratadekhe pravritti, function, kriya, moment, pravritti sambhavat, pravritti darshanat, pravrittehe darshanam, pravritti darshanat. So therefore, it implies there must be a chaitanyam behind it. Therefore, that is one reason. This is anvaya hetuhu, pravritti darshanat. Therefore, pravritti implies there must be chetanadishtitasya eva tatadehe, tata etc. Suppose mrit, tata is one example. Mrit is there. Clay, will it become a pot by itself? Cannot be. Mrit is jada. Jada cannot become pot by itself. It requires a conscious entity. A person, kumbhakaraha is required, converts the mrit into a pot. Therefore, pravritti darshanat, adipada tatadehe. Similarly, with regard to other things also. Therefore, every pravritti implies the chetana, chaitanyam, and chaitanya adhishtitasya prakritihi. So chaitanya adhishtitasya prakritehe eva pravritti darshanat. Then he says another reason. Tat sadbhave pramana bhavat. Very strong pramana bhavat. Very strong reason. Hetu. So where is the pramanam? Tat sadbhave. Tat referring to tasya prathanasya. Sadbhave astitve satve. Vidyamanatve. It being there, pradhana being there. Tat sadbhave. Tasya sadbhava tat sadbhava. Tat sadbhave pramanam astiva nasti. Pramana abhavat. Pramanasya abhavat. Pratyakshadehe. Shrutehe va nasti abhavat. Pramanasya abhavaha pramana abhavat. That is the pramanam where the Shruti says, Shruti doesn't talk about Jara as the Jara becomes this Jagat iti. Therefore, there is no proof for the Prakriti to exist independently. Shruti doesn't have. Therefore, pramana abhavat. Then this is third. Chaturtha karanam ajam ityadishtescha. Tejo Bannadi Prakritya Vyakrita Paratvacha. The Sankhya's may quote this Vakya from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. The famous Vakya, it's a beautiful sentence, mantra. Ajamekam Logita Shukla Krishnam Bhakve Prajaha Prajamanam Sarupaha. It is the Shvetashvatara Vakya. Ajam, that which is not born. Ekam, that is one thing, that Prakriti, that is we say it is Maya, unborn, and it has three colors. Logita, Shukla, Krishna. Red, white, black. Red, white, black, referring to the three gunas. So therefore, Bhakti Prajaha Sajamanam Sarupaha, it produces out of this, that unborn, that which is of these three colors, producing thing of the same nature as itself. This is referring to Ajnana or Prakriti. Ajnanam or Prakriti, Ajnanam or Avidya or Maya. In Vedanta, we say, in fact, we quote the same. But here, Sankhya also quote this Upanishad Vakya that to prove that independent matter exists. This Ajam, etc., this referring to the unmanifest Avyakrita, Prakriti Avyakrita, unmanifest state of this fire, water, and earth. Tejaha, Jalam, and Annam. Annam referring to Prithvi Tattva. So Tejaha, fire, Jalam, water, Annam, Prithvi. Trivat Karanam, like Panchikaranam. Panchikaranam is a method to explain the grossification, the compounding of elements. That is from the Bhuta of Bhautikas have come to existence, from elements to elementals. And some Shruti mentions only three elements. Trivat Karanam, like Panchikaranam, Trivat Karanam. For that Shastram sometimes says Panchikaranam, sometimes says Trivat Karanam. Means that is not a Tatparya. Tatparya ultimately to prove that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Shastra doesn't have Tatparya in discussing the Mithya Jagat. It is Mithya. Srishti, etc. It's all talked about, but that is not a Tatparya of the Shastra. Therefore, whether it is Trivat Karanam or Panchikaranam, it doesn't matter. From elements, elementals have come. Whether the elements be 3 or 5. So here 3 are mentioned. Tejo Bannadi, Tejaha up. Tejo Ban, what is Ban? Not bread butter jam, Ban. Tejaha up. Up is water. Then Anna. The whole Sandhi. You have to split. Tejaha, Tejas Shabda. Padanta Sakara becoming Ru and then Uttvadesha. Tejaha up. Up also Justam. Ab. Tejaha up and then Anna. Annadi. Anna referring to Prithvi. Prithvi Tattva. Prakritya Vyakrita Paratvat. Prakriti Vyakrita Paratvat. Maya Paratvat. Ityartha. Brahma Maya Paratvat. Avyakrita Prakriti Prakritya Vyakra Paratvat. Avyakrita Namni. Avyakritam, the word we use. Avyakritam referring to Maya. Ishwar Shakti. Ishwar Shaktehe Mayayaha. Bodhika Bhavati. Avyakrita. Maya Paratvat. Brahma Shakti Paratvat. That's what we say. Therefore, Shruti says this. Maya Paratva. Ishvara Shaktehe Maya Paratvat. Therefore, this Srishti. Not that Prakriti itself becomes, it is not possible. That Shruti doesn't say so. So it is, you cannot say. When they say matter exists independently, then we say, no, it is not. Here, This Vakya Vishweta Ashvatra Upanishad doesn't talk about these separate, independent nature of this matter principle. It is talking about Maya, the unmanifest material, the unmanifest Shakti of Brahma, Avyakrita, which alone manifests as Tejaha, up, and this Prithvi, Annam. So therefore, this is another reason. Therefore, Etehi, Etehi, Etubihi, Sankhya Darshanasya, Siddhantam Khandayati, Tikakaraha. Sankhya, they fathom Jagat, Ita Jagat, Pradhanam, Chetana Prakriti, Chetana Prakritehe Swataha Utpannam Bhavati, iti Sankhyaha Manyante. That for the very reason Anadishtasya Prakritehe Asambhavat iti Tasya Nishedasya Tikakaraha Chatvari Karanani Atra Uktani. Pratama Karanam Kim Tasya Chetanadishtitasya Karyotpade Swataha Samarthyat. Jada Padarthas, inert matter cannot perform any action, cannot perform any effect on its own. So किमपि कार्यं स्वयं कर्तुं न शक्यते. अतः सांख्यानां प्रधानं जडम् अस्ति. अतः स्वयमेव किमपि स्रष्टुं न शक्नोति. यदि ईश्वरः नास्ति, यदि ईश्वरः नास्ति तर्हि जडप्रधानं स्वतः एव जगत् निर्माणं कर्तुम् असमर्थं भवति, असमर्थः भवति प्रकृतिः. Ishvara as Niyanta must be there. Then only there is Niyati in the Srishti. If there is no conscious being Ishvara over it, then this inert Pradhana is utterly incapable of independently creating this Jagat. This Jagat, according to Sankhya, consists of this Magat Tattva, Ahankara, this Ashtada Prakriti, and all, 7th chapter Gita we saw. That is not possible. Even in Gita, that is, Bhagavan says that Mama Prakriti of two, Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. The 7th chapter Bhagavan has said, Umirapo Nalo Vayuhu Kammano Buddhirevacha Ahankara Mitiyam me Binna Prakriti Ashtada Prakriti. That itself cannot become the Jagat. Apareyam itastanyam Prakriti Middhi me param Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yedam Dharyate Jagat. He says, Bhagavan in the Gita, Apara Prakriti, this Apara Prakriti is my lower Prakriti. Whereas there is another Prakriti, which is higher Prakriti, Anyam Prakritim Vidhi, which is Param Prakriti. Para Prakriti Asti. Yaya Idam Jagat Daryate. Therefore, that Para Prakriti Ishvaraha Chaitanyam, that is the Adhishtanam. So therefore, without that, it is not possible. Aham Krishnasya Jagataha Prabhavaha Pralayastata. Bhagavan says as Aham as Ishvara. So without that, how it is possible. Therefore, it is ruled out. So Chetana Nadishtitasya Karyotpade Swataha Prakritihi Swataha by itself is not capable. Swataha Karyam Kartum Ashakyatvat Asamartya. Swataha is by own. We cannot say this spontaneously has come by chance. There is no by chance. Nothing happens by chance. So it is not possible. Similarly, Ratadehe. Ratadehe is a good example. Loka Vyavahara Drishtantam. Samsare Drishyate. Loke Drishyate eva. Rataha Jadaha asti. Saratina vina. Saratina vina svataha na chalati rataha. अतः एव चेतनेन पुरुषेण विना इदं जगत् कथं संभवति कुंभकारं विना कथं कुंभः संभवति कुंभनिर्माणं संभवति तद्वत् इदं जगदपि ब्रह्म विना स्वतः प्रवृत्तं भवितुं न अर्हति इति. And pramanam also is not there. प्रकृति सिद्धये किमपि दृढं प्रमाणं नास्ति. प्रत्यक्षम् अस्ति वा प्रत्यक्षेन तो दृश्यते न तो वेदेषु अपि कुत्रापि न उक्तम्. अतः स्वतन्त्रा कश्चित् जडप्रकृतिः जगत्कारणत्वेन न स्वीकृता अस्ति. Therefore, pramanam is required. There is no proof to establish this independent, inert pradhanam, which Sankhya believes. It is neither perceived by pratyaksha, etc., nor by the shastra, never ever accepted anywhere. So therefore, as a cause of this jagat, therefore, it cannot be the karanam. Quoting Shvetashwar Upanishad also is not proper, because that aja, the word aja mekam, that referring to not the independent prakriti of the Sankhya's, but it refers to Maya Shakti of Ishvara. The unmanifested causal state of this three elements, Tejas, Up and Prithvi. So Maya, Brahmashaya Maya, which is Trigunatmika. It is Trigunatmika. From that, this Avyakritam, Maya is Avyakritam, then it is Vyakritam. This is how the Srishti is presented in the Shastram. In fact, in Mundaka Upanishad, we saw in the beginning itself how the Srishti comes. How the Srishti comes, tapasa chiyate brahma, tato namabhijayate, annat prana manasatyam, loka kharmasu chamratam iti. How Ishvara produces creation in 4 stages we discuss. Matter itself cannot create. So matter is required. But how was the matter before? So it was in the potential form, Avyakrita Rupam, this unmanifest universe. Where does it located in Brahma alone? That unmanifest, this Jagat, which was in the passive form just before manifestation. Just before manifestation only it is activated. Like the Drishtanta we saw, that seed becomes, by absorbing water, etc., becomes expanded seed, then from that plant and then tree. If tree is compared to this Jagat, this Maya which was Avyakrita, unmanifest in Brahma, located, it has Ashraya in Brahma. First it in the passive stage, then this passive stage, inactive stage, and becomes activated. Activated is, then it becomes very subtle, sukshma, like the seed becomes expanded seed, then from that slowly sprout, etc. The stula prapancha, final form comes. So, therefore, Maya is referred to as Avyakritam, unmanifest. That Maya getting ready for Srishti, it gets activated. Then in the third avastha, it becomes Sukshma Prapancha. Then it is Stula Prapancha. That is how we saw in the mantra. Tataha annam abhijayate, annam referring to annam abhijayate, the word annam, annam, and then annat pranaha, manaha, etc. All these things have come to existence. Tapasa chiyate brahma. Tapaha. Tapaha is visualization. That is, Brahma prepares itself for creation, of course, with the help of Maya. So, tapasa chiyate. That mantra we saw elaborately how the Srishti happens. That doesn't say the Srishti comes independently from the matter. Tapasa Brahma chiyate. Brahma chiyate is that not the Brahma, that Maya, which is in passive state in Brahma, because Maya doesn't exist independently. And Brahma itself cannot undergo any change for the reasons already we saw before. So for that, Maya undergoes change. Therefore, Maya is dependent on Brahma, and therefore it is not independent like as the Sankhya's say. It is not possible. So therefore, Avyakrita Karana Rupa, this Maya, the unmanifest, the undifferentiated causal state, that causal state. Matter, it exists as in a potential form, where in Ishvara, in Ishvara, that's why Ishvara is Mayavi. So Maya as its Ashraya in Brahma. So therefore, Maya doesn't exist. Maya, what we call is Prakriti for Sankhya. So Maya is Brahmashraya Maya. For them, the Prakriti or Pradhana exists independently. So therefore, and those are two independent realities. Without Purusha, Prakriti cannot act at all. It cannot get activated, not possible. So Aja Mekam Logita Shukla Krishna Varnam, that Aja, that Avyakrita Karanarupa Maya, which Shruti says of three colors, means referring to the three gunas. Sattva, Raja, Tamo, Gunatmika, Maya. And they are inert, they are Jada principle, Jada only. Then how it becomes this Bhakti Prajaha Sarupaha, it produces blessed by Chaitanyam, blessed by Ishvara. Therefore only there is Niyati, and there is a Krama, a Srishti Karma, there is a Niyati being followed. And it is a Shakti of Ishvara. Maya is a Shakti of Ishvara. Therefore, the Srishti is possible in an orderly fashion. So therefore, by all these reasons, we cannot accept the Sankhya theory of Swatantra Pradhana Parinama Vadaha. Sankhyanam Swatantra Pradhana Parinama Vadaha. It is not Shruti Sammataha. Not only that, it is not Yuktitaha api na Svikartum Shakyate. So therefore, Jagataha Paramam Karnam tu Satchit Anandam Brahma Eva. Iti our stand. Iti we say, and then we are supported by Shruti. Shruti says there are so many Vakyas. This Vakya alone cannot be quoted to say that matter creates. It doesn't say. We have to see the what has gone before and what comes later also. Even in the Shvetashvatra Upanishad. So therefore, matter principle, it is there, Maya is there. But where it said it is independently created Jagat, it is not. Okay. Ajam Ekam. That itself says that is unborn. Means unborn means it is the avyakrita avastha, unborn, ajam ekam, Lokita Shukla Krishna, the three gunas. The three gunas of the Prakriti. We also borrow these ideas from the Sankhya, but we dismiss them when they say Anadishtitasya Pradhanam Karanam Bhavati, when they say that we dismiss. We say Adishtitasya Pradhanam Maya Karanam Bhavati Jagasrishtehe. That is correct. Therefore, it shows there must be some analysis. Some Mimamsa should be done to understand the Vakyas of the Shruti. And therefore, Acharya here given Loka Vyavahara Drishtanta Ratadehe, why it is not possible that we don't see the Prakriti itself producing something independently, it is not seen. And also Shruti Pramanam also is there. The Shruti Vakyam, Vidasha Vakyam has to be analyzed properly. That is not proper. When they say we dismiss that by giving our stand, it is Brahmashaya Maya alone Sishtikarnam iti. For all this reason, the four reasons. Pradhana Parinamavadaha api na svikartum shakyate, dismissed. Then therefore, next line, so Sankhya Nayayika dismissed and Sankhya also dismissed. So Dvaita Matha Khandan Kratva Idanim, let us read. Kim Kintu Shrutau
किन्तु श्रुतौ
Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahma
सत्यं ज्ञानमनन्तं ब्रह्म
Tasmadva Etasmadatmana Akashasambhutah
तस्माद्वा एतस्मादात्मन आकाशसम्भूतः
Sadeva Saumyedam Agra Asit
सदेव
तदेव
सौम्येदमग्रमासीत्
सौम्येदमग्र आसीत्
Tadaikshata Bhagusyam Prajayeyeti
तदैक्षतबहुस्य
बहुस्यां
जायेति
प्रजायेति
Yato Bhagimani Bhutani Jayante
यतो
यतो
वा
वा
इमानि
इमानि
भूतानि
भूतानि जायन्ते
जायन्ते
Yas Sarvajñas Sarvavit Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha
यः सर्वज्ञः
सर्वज्ञः
सर्ववित्
सर्ववित्
यस्य
यस्य
ज्ञानमयं
ज्ञानमयं
तपः
तपः
Tasmadetat Brahmanama Rupamannam च Jayate
तस्मादेतद् ब्रह्मनाम रूपमन्नं च जायते
ब्रह्मनामरूपमन्नं जायते
Ityadishu
इत्यादिषु
इत्यादिषु
Sahasrashah Paramatmanah Eva
सहस्रशः परमात्मनः
परमात्मने
एव
Chetana Jagadutpatti Shravanat.
चेतना जगदुत्पत्तिश्रवणात्
जगदुत्पत्तिश्रवणात्
And other reasons are given. Shravanat, it is Yetu. One Shruti and Pramanam is given. Karanam Pramanat. Iti Achetranam Jagat Chetanat Brahmanaha. Achetanam Jagat Chetanat Brahmana Katam Jayate. How this Jagat is Achetana, Jada. How can this Chaitanyam can create this Achetana Jagat? And thousands of Shruti Vakyas are there, which says that Jagat originates from the Chaitanyam alone. From the Chaitanyam alone. All these Vakyas, Kintu Shrutau, in the Veda, Vedeshu, Shrutau, Vedeshu, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Taittiriya Upanishad. Tasmad referring to Tasmad Brahmanaha, Etasmad Atmanaha, it is Mahavakya. That Brahma is Atma, Atmanaha, Akasha Sambhutaha, Akasha Dvayo, Vayoragni, Agnirapaha, Advyas Prithivi, Prithivya Oshadayaha, Oshadibhyonam, iti the Srishti is talked about. So therefore, Brahma is the Karanam. Sat eva asit, idamagre, Srishtehe Prak, Sat Brahma, Pajadashi, this Vakya discussed elaborately. Sadeva asit, Brahma eva asit, Sat eva, that was Asat. Tadakshata Bhagusyam Prajaye Heti. That's Chandogya. Tata Aikshata. Visualize. Brahma visualize. May I become many with the support of Maya. Yato Bhagyamani Bhutani Yataha. Chaitanya Upanishad. Janmadasya Yataha. This Vakya is the basis for the Brahma Sutra. Janmadasya Yataha. Yataha Yasmat. Imani Bhutani. All these beings are born, have come to existence. Then in the Mundaka Upanishad. Yes. Yaha Sarvajnaha Sarvavit Ishvara. Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha Tasmadetat Brahmanama Rupamannam Tajayate. The Srishti has come. Ityadishu Sahasrashaha Sahasra Sankhikeshu Vakyeshu Paramatmanaha Eva. Paramatmanaha Panchami. Ishvarat Eva. Chetanat. Ishvarat Eva. Chetanat Jnana Swarupatvat. Ishvarat Eva Jagadutpatti Shravanat. It is one hetu Karanam. Samsarasya Jagataha Srishtihi Shuyate iti Karanat Jagadutpatti Shravanat. Jagadutpatti Jagataha Utpattihi Jagadutpattihi Jagadutpattehe Shravanam. Jagadutpatti Shravanam Tasmat. It is one hetu Jagadutpattehe Shravanat. The first strong Shruti Pramanam is there for saying this Jagat has come from Brahma. Shruti Pramanam. Taittiriya, Chandogya, Mundaka, how many Shruti requires? Padishutsu Spashtam Muktam. Chetanat Paramatmanaha Eva Jagadutpannam iti. Shastra Mukhya Pramanam. Shastra Pramanam Asti. Upanishads repeatedly declaring. So therefore, this is Yukti, Shastra Pramanam. Then Yukti Pramanam. Yuktya. What is that? Vilakshana Yoho Api. Sentence.
Vilakshanayo
Oh,
Vilakshanayoho api
Karya Karana Bhavasya.
Karya-karana-bhavasya
Gomaya Vrishchika Purusha Kesha, not Kashe, Kesha Lomadu Darshanat.
Gomaya Vrishchika Purusha-kesha-lomadau Darshanat.
Darshanat.
This is second reason. We give a reason, list of reasons why we say. First is strong pramanam, Shruti pramanam given. Second, Yukti. That is Vilakshanata. The Purupakshi can argue that a conscious being as a cause cannot produce an effect which is unconscious. So, cannot produce Gomaya, for example. Kaudan. Gomaya is Achetana. Kaudan. Inert Kaudan. Achetanat Gomayat. Vrishchikaha Jayante. Scorpion. From Kaudang only this scorpion comes. How does it come? Kaudang is inert. From that, a scorpion, a living scorpion comes. This is one. From Achetana to Chetana. Similarly, Chetanat Purushat, Achetanaha Kleshaha Jayante. Achetanaha Kleshaha Jayante. But all these are refuted by Mundaka Upanishad by giving all the example, three types of example. Yatorana visayate grunnate cha tata prativyam oshadaya sambhavanti. We saw that example. Three dissimilar examples are given. All these are possible. Here, so this from Chetana to Achetana and Achetana to Chetana, that creation is given. Because Purva Pakshi argues. He may argue. So, Vilakshana yoho api. Karya karana bhavasya vilakshana yoho api. When the cause and the effect, Karya, Karana and Karya. When Karya and Karanam and Karya are completely different. When we say Karana Karya, it must be Sambandha. But Vilakshana yoho, Pinda Lakshana yoho, Asadrisha yoho, Karya Karana Bhavasya, like Gomaya Vrishchika, Purusha Keshalo Madhu, Darshanat, it is seen. If they argue, then we have the reason. So even though the Karanam and the Karya are different, but still it is possible. Darshanat in the Loke we see, it is our Anubhava, which we see the cause and effect relationship. If it's observed, it is seen between dissimilar things. It is possible. So if the Purvapakshi, the Sankhya, if they object, how can a Chetana produce a Achetana thing? For that we say, it is possible. The point is, it should be blessed by Brahma Chaitanyam. That they miss it. That is why they get stuck, not able to accept the Karya Karana Sambhava of between the two dissimilar things. This Jagat is Jadam, therefore the Karanam also must be Jadam. This is their thinking. This is logical. But you cannot prove it by logic. Everything cannot prove by logic. Jagat Srishti, logically you cannot prove. If you prove, then what is the Shruti does? Shruti as a Pramanam, that also you have to accept. And Sankhya being a Astika Darshanam, they also accept the Shastra as a Pramanam, valid Pramanam. And Shastra itself says in Mundaka Upanishad, as we saw, how dissimilar things are produced. In fact, Purushat Keshalovamani, that example, it is there itself in the Mundaka Upanishad. Abhinanim Pittapadanakaram, for that spider example is given. Spider is the cause. And this web is the Karya. Similarly, earth is the cause from which plants are come. Plants are the Karya. So cause is Jada, and from which plants come. Similarly, Purusha and Kesha. Purusha the Karanam, from Purusha, Kesha, therefore from the cause Brahma, varieties of effects. Ekameva Karanam, Karanat, Anekavida Karyanam, Anekavida Karyani Sambhavati. Body Chetram, Chetana Sharirat, Achetana Keshaha Sambhavati. Vilakshana Srishti. The Vilakshana Srishti, therefore, cause and effect are of dissimilar nature. The example, Salakshana Srishti example also given, Vilakshana Srishti also is given. Salakshana Srishti, Vilakshana Srishti. Prativyam Oshadayaha Sambhavati. Brahma produces this from this, like this, Brahma also produces this Jagat. Tata Prativyam Oshadaya Sambhavati. Urnabhihi Sujite Grinnate. Tadvat. Therefore, Sataha Purushat, Yata Keshalomani, Tata Aksharat, Vishwam Iha Sambhavati, as we saw in Mundaka. Similarly, this Vilakshana Srishti, Salakshana Srishti, for those examples are given from that is for us to understand this cause is Brahma is the cause. And Abhijanibhita Upadana Karanam, for that spider example was given. So therefore Gomayat, Achetanat Gomayat, Vistikaha, Achetanat Purushat, Kleshaha, iti Vilakshana Srishtihi, Karyakaranayoho, Karanakaryayoho, Lakshana Vedaha, Binnatvam Sambhavati. Loke Drishyate. Loke Drishyate, therefore we cannot say, how can it come, we cannot say. Because it is available, it is seen in the loka, it is, therefore you cannot negate it, cannot dismiss it. So therefore, this is, if they raise an objection for that, we give the answer. How can dissimilar things produce from a thing? It is possible. Vilakshana Srishtihi. For that only this example is given. Gomayat Vrishchikaha, Chetanat Purushat, Keshaha, Adipadat, etc. Anything. Darshanat. So therefore, it is blessed by Ishvara, therefore it is possible. There is an order. Then the next reason is, as we saw before, Nayyayika Sarambhavada, Sankyanam, Parinamavada, these two others dismissed. Therefore, how this Srishti really happens? For that we say, the cause alone, Karanameva Karirupena Drishyate, without undergoing any real change. The cause alone appears as its effect without undergoing any change, like a rope appearing as a snake. Or how Shuktika appears as a Rajata, silver. Our Shuktika appears as silver, same way. Then what Vada is there? Vivarta Vada. So therefore it is an appearance, illusory appearance. That is the next reason we give. Aramba Parinama Vitirekena Tatvataha Nyatavana Lakshana Vivarta Rupa Prakarasyapi Karyotpade Swapna Prapancha Shukti Rajatado Darshana. That point we will see. We will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Dhanyavada.
Dhanyavad. Really, from cow dung, scorpion is produced. Is it so?
Yes, he says, right?